Welcome to RetroBytes episode 9. My name is Brian, and this is a show where Sam, Alan, and I talk about video games and life in general. And on today's show, we look at the news, when is the best time to announce a game, take questions from the Patreon, spin the wheel of discussion, and we look at 5 perfect games. Before we start the show, I just want to mention our social medias, which you can find at linktree/Retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/Retrotopia. There you can find our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the link to our Discord if you want to join in on the conversation. Also, you can join in at patreon.com/Retrotopia, where you can join for free. And you can get a couple of extra shows and an extra topic on RetroBytes. So let's start the show. Alright, welcome to another episode of RetroBytes. My name is Brian, and joining me as always is my great British friend Alan and my good American friend Sam, and we get together once a month just to talk about games and life. But first, we like to catch up with each other. So, Alan, it's been the longest since I've talked to you last. How have you been?
Yeah, better late than never, eh? For another episode of RetroBytes. Like, we're usually just under the wire. I think we just flew past the wire on this one. I'm good, Brian. Thank you. I'm exhausted, but I am good. I've been off for almost 2 weeks now from work. Just living the dream. Just going out, partying, within reason. Still got a kid indoors, so those parties usually finish by about 5 p.m. Or for Sam there, 5:30, if you like. But
yeah,
it's been good. It's been a good time, and I accidentally just bought a Sega Saturn. So
yeah, accidentally
on purpose. That's how I usually buy things.
You fuckers distracted me, and before I knew it,
I want to be a fly on the wall for that conversation with your wife. Honey, I just whoopsie doodled a credit card expense.
Oh, she gave her blessing for that, didn't she?
If I may coin a phrase, to be fair, it was actually because I was just recently 40 years old. I won't say exactly when, but that did come out of some of the birthday money that I was very kindly gifted. So I am in the clear on the Sega Saturn purchase.
Well, you're lucky on that.
Well, happy birthday, man.
You know it, buddy. Yeah, thank you.
Big
thank
4-0. Sam's the kid in this podcast now.
That's right.
I know.
Sitting in his 30s.
Damn right.
I feel like we're grooming him.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Inappropriate.
Sam, how have you been?
Inappropriate. Oh, by the way,
by
the way, I'm really glad that you toned down your second attempt at the introduction, but you still gave me a little shade when Alan was your great friend and I'm just a good friend. Like you couldn't completely mask it.
Pecking order. There's a pecking order
coming after me.
I'm sorry. I tried to hide it, but
it's fine.
It's happens.
Fine. Yeah, it's good. It's been busy, and it's good to be back doing this because I definitely miss it when it's not. When our schedules don't match up and we gotta shift things around and stuff. It's just good to be back in the groove. We did Yoshi's Story the other day. We got this one. I'll be doing some more recording next week, and it's good to be back into it because it felt like I was out of it for a bit. And
yeah, it does feel like that. Like I've only gotten one episode per month, I think, since I started the semester, really, and it just feels like I'm walking into a room where everybody knows the conversation going on, and I have to sit there for a minute and catch up. But you guys make me feel wonderful. Alan hands me a beer, being my great friend, and Sam says hello as my good friend.
Yeah. Hi.
I didn't even notice I said
hi,
that.
Casual acquaintance. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, person on this random dater event.
Well,
God, what have
Brian,
you guys been playing?
We missed you, Brian.
Oh,
we always miss
you.
The heart and soul of Retrotopia, right there.
Oh my God, the two things on me: I'm a ginger, therefore I have no soul, and I'm old, therefore my heart is dying.
You are all heart, Brian. all heart. What
That's
a
what my doctor said too. It's a real dangerous medical condition.
yeah, enlarged heart. Yeah, you're not
All
wrong.
heart and some fart.
I've been playing Silent Hill 2 remake fucking finally, and I cannot tell you how happy I am about that, because I feel like I'm the last person on the planet to get round to a game that really I should have had on release day. Because it's no secret that I love Silent Hill dearly. Hugely excited for Silent Hill F. I think that looks
Yeah,
fucking
holy
insane.
shit.
Right? Like,
I haven't watched that yet. I just haven't had
oh,
time.
buddy, it looks. I don't know. That whole like 60s Japanese aesthetic to it is it's just tickling me in all the right places. Just it's got that sort of classic Japanese horror
Ugh.
vibe to it. And I'm in.
It's so
I'm
creepy.
in. Obviously, I've had to vacate the PlayStation 5 because Assassin's Creed Shadows just came out, so my wife is all in on that. So she's literally up there now playing that. So finding time to play Silent Hill 2 is going to be tricky at best. So,
Is that a testament to Ubisoft nailed the Assassin's Creed?
I mean, she's only a couple of hours into it so far, but from
It only came out like from we're recording what on the 21st. Came out yesterday.
it came out yesterday, so yeah, really, really early opinions. But so far, I mean, I've tried not to look at the screen.
Good luck.
I know, right? Because I just want to go in fresh when my turn inevitably rolls around in a few months' time. But yeah, she's making some very, very positive noises. I didn't want to say noises because I know what you guys are going to do with that. But yes, she's enjoying
I don't know what
it.
you're talking about.
And no,
Yeah, that seriously did grow up.
of course, of course.
You said it, not me.
If I could only release the Discord chat, you know, they'd all know what was up. I'd fucking exposed a lot
Well,
of you.
you know what?
So
Take it up with HR.
I've been kicking tires on. Well, I've not been kicking tires. I've been killing time by playing Power Wash Simulator again.
Oh, that game is so
my
addictive.
God.
It's
I've never
fucking
played it.
crack.
Isn't there a
It's
I had to
so
stop.
good.
isn't there an expansion like a
Mhm.
Final Fantasy VII expansion where you can wash shit and
Dude, there's like
Yeah.
400 expansions.
That's crazy.
There's that. There's Wallace and Gromit. There's SpongeBob, Back to the Future. There's all sorts, and you can just wash shit. And it sounds dumb, but it's just so relaxing.
no, I get it.
Yeah, you just sit there and like cleaning stuff. But the only annoying part about Power Wash Simulator is when you have like that 1% left to clean.
Oh,
And
buddy.
you're hitting the scan button, you can't fucking find it.
'Cause
It's just, like driving you nuts.
It's literally the smallest bit of orange just somewhere, and it's usually underneath the fucking vehicle or something. Yeah, I feel you on that one.
I just like that our
and-
I like that our games have it's like basically a chore but a game, but it's fun when you're doing it as a game, but as an actual chore it sucks ass.
Oh yeah, I have a mobile game that's about mowing the lawn.
Oh,
and
I know.
I fucking hate
I like
mowing
mowing the lawn. I'll mow the lawn.
Well, this is just it. I actually quite like jet washing or power washing.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. It's just I find that the only difference with Power Wash Simulator is that it's a lot kinder to my spine.
Yes.
So
Oh god.
that's why I prefer that. And I'll tell you what's a lot less fucking stressful are the Taz games that we've been playing recently. Which I managed to finish just recently. But I'm not going to say anything about that because I'm going to hand it over to Sam to hear what he's been playing and sit back.
You finished Mars, right?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
God.
did.
Now
Yeah.
I'm behind. Well, one more thing I'll say about Power Wash Simulator is I wish they would combine Silent Hill 2 with Power Wash Simulator because that fucking world needs a good power wash. That place is filthy.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
triangle head.
Yeah, just ugh. Everything is gross. I hate when you have to like reach into a nasty toilet to like pull out a. It's like it even grosses me out, even though it's clearly just a video game. But it's like
I
Ugh.
love that they kept that shit in there, but I love that they added the fact that you have to press the button a couple of times, and the
Yes.
look on James's face
Yeah, like
when he is just reaching in.
yeah.
It's like, dude, like just fucking do it.
Yeah,
Like you
but
have to do it.
between like reaching your hand into like a hole filled with bugs or like jumping down into a bottomless pit, he's like, "Ugh, are you sure?" Like, "Yes, yes, please jump in there." No, but yes, because that's how the
Yeah.
game progresses.
Let's just get out of here as quickly as possible.
Yeah. What's the question? What have I been playing? I don't know.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah, I finally put down Advance Wars DS for now. I got to I'll pick it up eventually. Like I can always go back to it when I want to, but holy shit, does it have a difficulty spike? I was really like for the first 20 or some odd missions, I was S rank or whatever, which is the highest. I was not really having too many difficulties with it, and then all of a sudden there are a couple where it's just like holy fuck. So I'm gonna put it down for now. I love it, but I have other things to play, so I'm gonna stop bashing my head against this one mission that I'm on. I was playing Taz, so I finished Tazmania for the Genesis, and it is certainly a game that was made for the Sega. And then Escape from Mars, which has been kind of fun.
That's the episode.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's the episode. Good thing it's a double feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've been chipping away at Escape from Mars. And it's funny because I had it as a kid, but I don't remember a lot of it. So I don't think it was a game that I chose to play an awful lot. But it's good to have it in the collection because I do enjoy picking up things from my childhood. So that was a good find. What else? I got a couple other things. As a game on the side, I've been kind of swapping back and forth between getting a little more back into Animal Crossing because it's been just a stressful week, and then sometimes just picking weeds and talking to little critters is relaxing. So that's been fun, and then also Pokemon Gen 2 because I got my batteries swapped at the game shop, and I started playing.
Nice.
Ooh la
Yeah, I
la.
started playing that because I've been wanting to play it for so long, and it's really funny. I think I mentioned this to Brian on the Yoshi episode, but I guess I don't know where I got this copy of Silver, but apparently like there was no battery in it, just corrosion, and where the battery used to be. So they were really nice.
Do you have a game place that will swap those out for you?
Yes, I do.
Mate,
I didn't know that. I just
I
asked casually. I was like, "How do you guys do your batteries?" Because I'm not looking to like fuck with soldering because that's kind of a high stakes.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. They were like,
No, I have literally fucked up a game doing it.
yeah. They'll do it for $10, which is really cool. And
For real.
Yeah.
And here I had to duct tape my own battery into Pokemon Silver like an
I did.
arsehole.
I actually used electrical tape when I did it. It was
Yeah.
probably like 10 years ago that I did that for some of my games, and I used electrical tape, which works, but it can not be the best. So yeah, it's funny because they do charge, I guess, like $10, which is a really good deal. But he didn't charge me, which was really cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then we're playing Until Dawn, which is another kind of I don't know what you would call this genre. If it's like interactive, like horror or whatever, like kind of like an interactive horror movie, kind of like The Quarry, which I've mentioned before. Really enjoying it. I like it a lot better than The Quarry. The story is better. The graphics aren't as good as The Quarry. But again, it's got some like kind of recognizable actors and stuff in it. And then they're like rendered on screen and their voices are in it and stuff. So like if you've seen the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, the main kind of like jock dude or whatever, the main special forces dude is in it. I don't know. I can't remember his name.
I haven't. Is that the one that has? Is it not Remy Malik in it?
He's in it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's the guy's name.
Yep.
Like I don't know for sure. Is that not like a kind of almost point and click kind of a game?
Kind of. Yeah. It's like the evolution of like a point and click game because you're not doing any platforming or there's very little like third person shooting. Like you have a gun sometimes, but it's more quick time events and just kind of walking around. and
Right.
trying to find stuff. So I'd call it more like what was that game? I played like a little bit of it on the Switch Online. It was like some After Dark, not After Dark. That makes it sound sexual. And it's not Perfect Dark. I'm blanking on it completely. But yeah, it's more along the lines of like a modernized point and click where you get to kind of like freely
I
walk
always
around and yeah.
I've been meaning to play it, but I always kind of saw it like the Telltale's
Yes.
Walking Dead games and shit like that. Is it?
I
Okay,
mean,
then
I
I
don't
mean,
know because I've never played one of those, but I would imagine so because it's kind of more like just like an interactive movie. Like you're making the choices and just like the Quarry, I think there's like a fuck ton of endings.
I love those kind of
Yeah,
games. I
it's
mean,
it's really fun. I'd suggest it. It's way scarier than the Quarry too. There's some stuff that like really creep me out.
nice.
Yeah, wetting my
Brian.
pants over here.
All
Brian,
right.
what are you playing?
Nothing as elaborate as what Sam's playing, but good. I finally started Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm actually sticking with it this time. I bought it brand new when it was released, and it's been sitting on my PlayStation. It was on my PlayStation 4 untouched. Well, not untouched, but I'd make it off the introduction mountain, and I would just give up on the game right after for God whatever reason. I'd have no idea. But I did that about 3 or 4 times, and I finally decided I needed a game I could pick up and put down and play when I felt like it. So I started it up again, and this time I got into it. And I've got about maybe 10 hours into the game so far, and the world is, I barely even touched any of the world. It is massive. And for a PS4 game, it looks better than some of the PS5 games being released.
I do not doubt
Uh,
that for a second.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you like Grand Theft Auto, you're going to love Red Dead Redemption 2. It is such a great game. And I loved Red Dead Redemption, which is why I really wanted to play this. But I don't know, just for some reason, I could never get into it when I started it.
I've had that since release, and I still have not even put.
See?
I've not put the disc in, and like you, I love Red Dead Redemption. Amazing game, but I've just never
No.
Again, it's one the wife has played, but I've just never. I think it's the time involved that's just kind of.
Yeah, it's like, it is a massive game, but but you can pick it up, do a mission, put it down. If you don't feel like doing a mission, there's a lot of other stuff to do. You can go hunting, you can go make some money, you can just ride around the countryside and enjoy the view. It's got so much. I don't know. It's a fantastic game. I'm just glad I finally got into it. I also started playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on my 3DS. That one was recommended by Super Dave, and I started that. Actually got into it. Thought I broke my 3DS the other day, but it turns out the battery was just dead. And so that was good. I accidentally left it in my bag for the week, but normally leaving my 3DS in standby doesn't kill the battery that quick. So I think the battery might be going.
Oh no!
And yeah, and finally I started Final Fantasy IV because Sam says he wants to play Final Fantasy, and I am all on board anytime anyone says Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire that up this weekend.
So yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is a good game. I played that a few years ago with the it's on the PSP with the was it the After Years as well?
Yeah, there's the after years that everybody seems to hate. I don't honestly hate the after years, but not the best.
No, I didn't hate it, but I'd kind of burned out by that point.
Yeah, it's definitely a game you go back to. It's not something you play right after Final Fantasy IV.
That's the mistake I made.
Uh, I played it when it first came out, and it was like, putting on an old pair of shoes that you used to love. It was like, I remember these. And then, after a little bit, you get bored of them again, you throw them back in the closet. But yeah, other than that, no, I haven't been playing anything. Games on my phone, that's about it. The third year students in my program didn't release, but they've asked some of, I guess, their juniors to trial their games. So there's 6 games in total that are up for pre-alpha testing, and they gave us links to download the game. So I've been going through those, kind of see what's coming up in my life in the next few years, and it is kind of interesting. Obviously, really rough. Like, they only have a year to develop not a full game, but just enough of a working game to make a prototype.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's definitely interesting to see some of the ideas these kids are coming up with nowadays. A couple of them probably have some good careers ahead of them.
That's cool.
We'll see them up on the game awards and stuff. So yeah, that's about all I've been up
Hell
to.
yeah,
That's going
leverage
to be
that
you
in a
one
few
day
years.
as well, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, my video game's going to be called Sitting and Being Quiet Simulator, and I'm going to force my son to play it.
I was gonna say you should keep an eye on some of these youngins in your class and leverage that like years down the line. Like, hey, remember when I helped you on that assignment? Now you have to be on my podcast.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh God, some of the younger people, well, we do a retro inspired video game podcast. These people are games that give them that dopamine dump real quick. So, you got your Fortnites or your League of Legends and shit like that. Like, they need that quick fix. Or you got the ones that they need to play the game that nobody's ever heard of.
Hipster gamers, that's fun. Hey, by the way, you guys, hang on a second. I gotta go take a dopamine dump. That's when
Dude, you're supposed to do that before we record.
that's when I play Animal Crossing when I'm on the toilet.
That's when I was playing Final Fantasy IV. I brought my Switch in there.
There you go.
Made it through the entire introduction.
I don't think I'm allowed to take a console into the toilet because if I take any longer than I already
Yeah,
do,
I don't usually,
will,
but
I will
sometimes.
be killed for it.
You're not supposed to sit on the toilet for that long. I've read articles. It's not good for you to sit on the toilet for
Well,
that
fuck,
long.
No.
fuck you and fuck your articles.
Yeah, it's like
No, go get yourself a squatty potty. Get yourself in the right position there, and you can just kind of lean your elbows on your knees because your knees are bent up, and you got the perfect pooping position.
well, there you go.
Love it. There you are.
Yeah. Should we get into some
That's
stories?
about it. All right, do you guys? Yeah, let's talk about the news. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. I was born ready.
I tried to make the titles a little more fancier rather than just some bland thing. No sound effects today. Don't feel like it.
Fair.
So we'll go with the first story, which is, and this one will rile me up again. I'm sorry, Sam.
That's all right.
But, GameStop CEO sparks debate with blunt remarks on France and Canada exit. GameStop's decision to sell its operations in France and Canada has drawn significant attention, mainly due to CEO Ryan Cohen's outspoken remarks on social media. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, still Twitter to people who don't give a shit, Conan invited potential buyers by stating, if you're interested in buying GameStop Canada or Micromania France, high taxes, liberalism, socialism, progressivism, wokeness, and DEI included at no additional cost if you buy today. Conan's comments reflect a growing sentiment among business leaders who view progressive policy and diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI initiatives as detrimental to corporate operations. By highlight these factors, Cohen suggests that the socio-political environments in Canada and France have influenced GameStop's strategic decision to divest from these markets. This perspective aligns with a broader debate on the impact of quote-unquote woke culture and DEI policies on business efficiency and profitability. Critics argue that such initiatives can impose additional operational burdens, while proponents believe they foster inclusive workplace and drive innovation. Cohen's remarks have sparked discussion about balancing social responsibility and business performance. As GameStop plans to sell its French and Canadian operations, the company's future direction remains a topic of interest, especially in the light of Cohen's candid commentary on socio-political factors influencing these decisions. So I've wrote a discussion point. Is the term woke getting old? Also, GameStop is a failing business. Can they go fuck themselves?
Yes and yes.
Oh, oh my God. I am so fucking tired of hearing the term woke.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah, used improperly, like you're constantly losing money. Like we'd give a shit if you leave our country.
Right.
it's like,
I haven't traded in a game in about 10 years because they don't give you money for trading. They're useless. Bye-bye.
Yeah, especially not to GameStop.
Honestly,
fuck them.
I have no experience with GameStop, obviously. I've heard stories that. Oh, thank you. I've heard stories that they are literally just hemorrhaging money and are basically fucked. And I can't see this helping them at all.
No.
I mean, I like to think that by and large, gamers are a pretty broad and welcoming, for the most part, group of people, and it's just like, Jesus, dude, like tell us what you really fucking think, because oh, this stinks. I do not like this.
Oh,
No.
it was just absolutely stupid. Like, at first I was kind of like, well, this is an institution. I used to buy Dragon Ball Z cassettes at like VHS tapes at EB Games, which is what turned into GameStop
Yeah.
here, and I love that. Like, I remember getting Final Fantasy 3 for the Super Nintendo and them holding the box over the counter. I remember stuff like that. I got good memories of this. I worked at an EB Games once. Their business model here is absolute garbage. Their trade-in thing where they give you $10 for a game and then sell it for 50 was stupid. Like, that's how they make their profit, is off used games. They don't make a lot of money off new games, so they have to bilk people out of their video games in order to resell them at high value. And it's just, it's terrible. And you go into one nowadays, there's like barely any video games, and it's all friggin' toys and clothing.
Yeah. It's like, you know, when I like what you said about bilking people out of their games, because I think they're trying to get into that, or tap in a bit too late to that retro market, like trying to supplant the mom and pop shops that are doing really fucking well, because they're building a customer base that's loyal, and you know, and paying pretty decent trade value back for games, and not overcharging for the games that they have on their shelf. Meanwhile, you got GameStop, like you said, that, you know, they give you pennies on the dollar for your resale. And I think people just,
It was Danny from
yeah,
it was Danny from Retro Wars that was talking about Australia doing that, and I think he looked at it, or somebody brought in some video games. He was saying on his news segment of his podcast.
I remember that. Yeah.
And somebody brought in something like a game that went for $150, and he got offered $10 from EB Games.
Yeah,
there.
it was. It was. I
damn
remember that. Now that you say that, I remember what he said. It was. I think it was a Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country in box with like everything in manual and everything. Something that should be, you know, like something that the game store can turn around and sell for well over $100, and they're giving you $10 for it. They can go fuck themselves.
And it's $10 in trading credit. It's not.
Oh
even
yeah,
cash.
yeah. It's like, it's if you want the cash, it's $8.50, but if you want the trading credits, it's $10. It's like, go.
Oh, we can't get cash from GameStop up in Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can only trade in and get store.
I mean,
credit.
I can get cash at my local shop if he's got the cash on hand. First of all, like, there's been times where I've sold there, and he's like, you know, I don't have, you know, we don't have a lot of cash for resale, but like I can give you store credit. It's like, perfect, that's fine, I'm going to spend it here anyways. But yeah, I mean, like, that's a good relationship. And like I just said, I just brought in 2 games, and he worked on them for me. And I mean, he didn't have to not charge me, but he did, and that was really cool. But to go back though to GameStop, like, it's going to be interesting to see if, like, this is a case study in how poorly managed this business is, because what I would be interested to see is if someone does take the initiative to purchase that entity in Canada and or France and turn it around, because it's very, I mean, it seems simple to us, but like a little bit of TLC to put into their business model, and they could probably flip the script a little bit on how poorly they're doing. And it would be interesting to see it be purchased in Canada and become successful, and watch it wither and die here in the States, because they're just refusing to change.
I would absolutely, I would love that. I mean, there is ideas you could have to turn it around. A video game only store doesn't work anymore,
No.
especially if you can't do something like buy PC parts. Like, if you could buy stuff to build a PC out of a store that's specifically designed for gaming, you know, all those people who love, you know, building their home PCs, that would be something. And then you sell consoles and games on the side. But unfortunately, the reality of this situation is that digital games are kind of killing the box store video game market.
Right. I mean, that's kind of why you have to go retro and offer but you have to, your margins have to be a little bit better than, a lot better than,
Yeah.
like what they're offering, because they're probably looking at it on paper and saying, if we want this to be profitable right away and save us, we have to offer pennies on the dollar and just hope that, someone who needs to offload their game collection for some quick cash is going to say, well, fuck it, I need the money now. And that's unfortunate, because people take care of their collections. And if you've got, like, for example, Donkey Kong for the Super Nintendo in box, and you've taken care of it all those years, like, giving it away for $10 is heartbreaking. You should be rewarded for holding on to something and keeping it in as good a shape as you've kept it in. If a corporation is going to turn around and make a ton of money off of it.
Fuck them.
Alan, do you have any final thoughts on this?
Fuck them. Put it on eBay.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's hard to comment on like a company that I have absolutely no experience with. From what it sounds like, their business model is shocking, to say the least. I mean, I'm not going to say that everything we've got over here is necessarily any better, but I was just looking at some like trade-in prices and things like that over here, because I use CEX over here, which, I could hear an argument for it not being the best in the world, and I would love the option of more, as you say, mom and pop shops over here.
Was that really that hard to say?
Pop,
yeah,
say pop a few more times. I'm about to pop.
Pop. Oh, well, because I just say mum and dad.
You could call it a mum and dad
so.
shop. That's fine.
Call it a mother and father establishment.
There we go.
Just call it a half shop. We'll understand.
And it's just like the prices don't suck for like trade-in and voucher and what have you, cash and voucher. It's just why, like, this sounds like a guy who's basically given up because.
Well, you got to remember that the only reason GameStop is still alive today is because it became a meme stock.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the only thing propping up the business.
That was wild.
I guess, but it feels like you're basically taking what little audience that you've got left, and then with a statement like this, just slicing it in half. Because, I can see some people, and I'm not going to get political, but in the current climate, I can see lots of people agreeing with this guy, but at the same time, I can see lots of people not agreeing with this guy. And it's just like, you're already struggling. Like, why say something like this that's basically going to alienate a huge portion of your customer base?
Yeah.
Just, it's not a good look. It's a weird choice.
It's a sore loser's like
Exactly.
Final words, just like, oh yeah, GameStop is failing, thanks wokeness. It's like, no, you're just you're just an asshole and you don't run it well. That's your problem, not ours.
Amen.
I don't care. It's my ball. I'm taking and going home.
No.
All right.
Have fun.
Let's go a little bit closer to Alan on the next story. And Sony launches a PS5 rental program in the United Kingdom. Game now, pay monthly. Sony has introduced a PlayStation 5 rental program in the UK, collaborating with tech leasing service Raylo to provide flexible leasing options for various PS5 models and accessories. The rental price starts at £10.99 per month for the PS5 Digital Edition, £11.99 per month for the PS5 Slim, and £18.95 for the PS5 Pro. Additional accessories are also available, including the PlayStation Portal for £6.49 per month, PlayStation VR 2 for £18.49 per month, and the DualSense Edge wireless controller for £7.99 per month. These rentals are available through Sony's PlayStation Direct UK website, offering flexible monthly rolling plans and fixed-term leases of 12, 24, or 36 months. Longer lease terms typically result in lower monthly payments. It's important to note that these are rental agreements, meaning customers do not own the console. At the end of the lease, options may include returning the device, upgrading, or purchasing it subject to Raylo's discretion and pricing. Additionally, devices rented through Raylo come with a lifetime warranty, covering repairs or replacements at no extra cost in the case of hardware failure or damage. This initiative aims to make PS5 consoles and accessories more accessible to a broader audience by providing flexible payment options. However, Potential renters should carefully consider the total cost over the lease period compared to purchasing the console outright. So, what are your thoughts on this? Are we coming full circle? Do you think the next step is Sony building renting stores for video games? And if they do so, should they add movies to it as well?
Yes, but probably not.
I mean, listen, that's the only way like people are going to watch Sony fucking movies because that shit has not been doing well at
No.
all. Do you know what? You know what's weird about this story is that it is a rental program in the UK, and I have not heard thing one about this. Like, and I don't doubt that this is a thing. I just, I have not heard anything about it. So if they are doing this, it is not very well advertised, and it's kind of strange, isn't it? Because I'm looking at these fixed term leases of 12, 24, 36 months and these prices and what have you, and I'm not going to do the maths here and now, but it kind of seems like a payment plan where you would own the console afterwards. It kind of seems weird that you potentially have to give it back at the end. And, or,
Yeah,
I get that the options are
just-
like upgrading, purchasing, or what have you. It's just like, does that take into consideration what you've already paid? Are you just like topping up?
Oh, it's a used console. I'm not paying full price for a used console. It's like a car.
Well, exactly. And it's like, if you're paying, I don't know, what are we looking at here? 10.99 for 12 months. I mean, that's quite a lot of money when you think about it.
Oh, you're looking. Well, by the time you're, what's it? That's about what, 11, 12, math hard. You're looking at about 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, about 130 bucks a year over 2 years.
It depends.
Well-
It depends on what these like. There's a lot that I don't know. I don't follow here, but
Sam, what do you think about the rental option? Do you think it's a good
Well,
idea? Or
yeah,
not?
here's the thing. This is coming from my analyst brain. There's going to come a point where the cost there's a break point where the cost becomes higher than what it would be if you were to just purchase it. I think as a short-term option, if let's say you either want to play a game, like you're not interested in video games for the most part, but like let's say you're a Star Wars fan. Brian, don't come at me. If let's say you're a Star Wars fan and you just want to play I don't know, Jedi Survivor, because you want the story of Jedi Survivor and you want to experience it, but you don't necessarily want to go through the whole rigmarole of buying a PS5 just to play one game. This is a great option for someone who just wants to play a game over the course of a couple months and maybe return this thing. That's a great option.
Yeah, but your leasing options are 12, 24, and 36. It's not like you can just
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, grab it for 2 months and return it. You have to
Yeah,
sign
I guess
for the,
I kind of missed.
year 2 or 3
I missed
years.
that. Yeah, like a 1 year lease, yes, maybe. Or let's say they've announced this is just a hypothetical, but in a case like this, you could say like, well, the PS5 is out and maybe they've announced or we think that a PS5 Pro may be coming, but I still want to play PlayStation Now. I'll lease it for a year. And then that way I don't have to buy a whole console and try to worry about selling it back for, to fucking GameStop, who's not going to give me any money for it. You know what I mean? Like there are definitely like cost, benefits to doing it this way. Is it good for like a hardcore gamer? Probably not, because you're probably going to want your own console and you're have that library of games already anyways, or collect for it or something. You know what I mean? This is another thing where, like PlayStation VR 2, like, I don't know that I want to buy one of those friggin' things.
Yeah, if you don't know you want to buy it, would you want to have it in your house? Like it's almost £20 a month. Would you want to have that in your house for a year just to try it?
Right.
I tell you
Well,
something for nothing.
here's-
I am not spending £20 a month for something that's been on somebody else's face because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like I'm assuming a lot of these consoles and accessories have been in other homes in the UK, and I've been in some of the other homes in the UK, and some of them are fucking gross.
Yeah.
So
Same here.
I don't know. Like,
I don't
yeah.
know. I think this is a great option for the short term, but I don't think this is especially if you're going into like this 24, 36 month term, like you might as well buy the damn thing. And I would hate for, people, you really got to do the math. Just do your homework before you do something like this. If you're listening in the UK and you're considering it, don't just jump into this thinking it's a great deal, because it might not be, because a lot of these things, like everyone and every company is out there to make money. And so while this might look very consumer friendly, it might not be. So just do your homework. But it's a cool idea.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this company Raylo either.
It sounds like
of course they're huge. They're in the news story. So
it sounds like the Kylo Ren, Rey Skywalker ship name from people are saying like Raylo or Raylo. That's
and that did not go over well. So do your homework.
Before we move on, I just want to put in my 2 points or 2 cents here, and I'm just thinking this is actually something that's targeted to be predatory to poor people or poorer people. Because I think back when I was young, there was a place that rented you furniture for your house.
Yeah, we have those.
And they called it rent to own, but when you did the math, a $300 couch would cost you over $1,000. And this is that kind of idea where 1099 looks like I could do that. That's no problem at all. But you don't understand how much you're actually spending in the long run. So you just keep renting it for $10.99 because it seems like a low amount. It's only like a sliver of your paycheck. The reality is, in the long run, you're paying thousands more than it's worth.
Yeah, because you're paying a low monthly fee, plus most of it is interest.
And that tends to affect poorer people more than it affects people who could just afford to buy the console outright. It's the reason I bought my cell phone outright, is because I don't want to put it on a cell phone plan and pay an extra $1,000 for this already overpriced phone.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
my thoughts.
That's
on that.
exactly it. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, you gotta really look at it and see. Most people aren't, unfortunately. They're just gonna see the low monthly price and go for it. But you really have to take the time to stack the numbers up, whether it's for this PS5 rental program or anything that that's become way more prevalent, where even if you're buying something online at like an Amazon or something, they want to get you the product. They don't care what it costs to you. They just want to move their product. So they'll say like you can pay over time with, whatever, it's bad. So watch out for that, because you can really get yourself into a lot of debt really quickly.
Oh, yes.
And this has been Financial Corner with Sam. Do. All right, moving on. Chrono Trigger turns 30 this year, unlike Alan, who turned 40. Square Enix teases big celebrations for the legendary RPG. Square Enix has announced plans to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the iconic RPG Chrono Trigger with a series of commemorative projects throughout the year. While specific details remain undisclosed, the company intends to extend these initiatives beyond the game's universe to show appreciation for its dedicated fan base. That would be me. Initially released in 1995 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Chrono Trigger was developed by a dream team comprising of Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi, Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii, and renowned artist Akira Toriyama, may he rest in peace. Known for his work on Dragon Ball, the game has since been lauded as one of the greatest RPGs ever. In 1999, the sequel Chrono Cross was released for the PlayStation, and in 2022, Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition was launched, featuring updates like enhanced character models and a remastered soundtrack. As part of the 30th anniversary celebrations, a special radio show aired on December 25th, 2023, featuring interviews with creators. Whoa, I might have got the date wrong on that. Featuring interviews with key creators Yuji Horii, the three guys I just mentioned, and somebody else. During this event, the developers discussed the challenges of producing a sequel and preferred working on new projects over revisiting past titles. Fans have long advocated for a remake of Chrono Trigger. Notably, a fan-led initiative aims to commemorate the anniversary by proposing a Chrono Trigger-themed Lego set, which has until April 2025 to garner the necessary support on the Lego Ideas platform. Go do what I
Yeah,
already did.
I'm gonna do
While
that.
Square Enix has not confirmed any official remakes or re-releases, the company has assured fans that more information regarding the 30th anniversary projects will be unveiled in the coming months. What would you guys like to see Square Enix bring to celebrate this milestone of arguably the greatest RPG ever?
No, it's not arguably. It's the greatest
I,
RPG of
yeah,
all time.
Yep,
I wanted to be a little humble.
it's got the
I
it's
will
got the
brook
Retrotopia seal of greatest of all time.
110%. First of all, Chrono Trigger at 30 looks a lot better than I do at 40, so you've got to give it that. Um, um,
I don't know. I haven't seen Chrono Trigger bent over in the bed.
well, you
Oof.
have. Let's be honest. You've played it
That's
every which
true.
way. Uh,
Oh god.
listen,
Sometimes I actually get the energy up to do it twice in one night.
do you know? Fuck. Do you know what the last sentence of this story screamed to me? Unveiled in the coming months.
They have no fucking
Do
clue.
we see? No. Do you know what I'm thinking? Do we see something for the Switch 2?
I hope so.
Well, I guess that big Nintendo Switch Direct is coming up here
Yeah,
soon.
I'd be
I
interested
mean,
to see.
I don't think it's like necessarily a release title, but I would love to see. It doesn't even have to be a remaster, but a compilation of all of the games just on one disc or one
No,
cartridge.
I know what you're saying. We just got Chrono Cross released and it's on the Switch. What I would love to see is Nintendo Switch Online gets Chrono Trigger added to it for the Switch 2, opening the door to Square Enix SNES and Nintendo games being put on NSO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they've already got the Pixel remaster, so they're going to cut into their own market.
Yeah, and they've already.
They don't have to put Final Fantasy. They got friggin' what's that? They got God damn it, Illusion of Gaia is part of the Enix
Yeah, that
brand.
Enix back catalog.
Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. You have all these games.
Now you're
that
talking. Okay, yeah.
They're
I'm
not going
halfway
to do that
there.
though, because we already have Breath of Fire. So.
Sam shot. How about you, Sam? Is there anything you'd like to see them bring? I know they did they have a YouTube channel, Square Enix Music, and they did this different artists playing songs from Chrono Trigger in different styles. So, like you hear a jazz rendition of the music. It was really good.
That's cool. I'd say
Yeah.
like just give us something. Give us something well thought out. I don't want it to be an afterthought. You know, like, well, I guess Zelda's 40th anniversary is coming up, so I'm hoping we get something for Zelda. We're not talking about Zelda. I'm just saying that like nothing was done really for Zelda's 35th, like Mario's 35th, and that was kind
but
of
his
disappointing.
35th.
But they did a lot. They did stuff for
I
Mario's
guess they
35th.
did it for Mario.
I just hope that it's well thought out. I think this is the first I've seen of the Lego set. I would be all over that. I'm already like chomping at the bit for the Game Boy that's coming up, and they're going to be collaborating with Nintendo on Pokemon stuff. So you don't have to get Pokemon.
Oh,
you don't have to get
yes.
Pokemon that are the crappy Mega Blocks, and I'm really excited about that. So I hope that comes to fruition. That would be amazing. I don't think we need a Chrono Trigger remake. So I really hope
No.
that's not the direction that they go. I really do hope they go in the direction of a physical release for the Switch. I hope it's Switch 1. I don't need to wait for a Switch 2, hullabaloo. I think it would do really, really well as just a Switch port, because that's really kind of a crime to me that they've got. It was a Super Nintendo game, and Chrono Trigger is available to play on like Steam and PC and phones and stuff, and it's not on a Nintendo console, which is where it started. I think that's really ridiculous. I think they need to pull their finger out of their ass and get Chrono Trigger on Switch. I think it would be right at home there. I think people would really take to it, and people that where it's kind of inaccessible, I think it would increase its accessibility.
Yeah, but that's the issue, because we already know the Switch 2 is coming. So like, how many people are going to buy Switch games. They're going to be saving their money for the next one.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's always that transition period. It depends on what happens with the Switch 2 announcements. If they shadow drop the Switch 2 in April, then boom,
Yeah,
game
and
over.
it's
But
backward
if it's
compatible.
announced for the winter, yeah, if it's announced for the Christmas season, gets released in October or November, then you got all summer. And like Sam said, with the backwards compatibility, yeah, you're golden. Just buy this game.
Here's the thing.
Then
And I'll tell you what, I would.
Yeah, I would buy it. I mean, Square Enix.
oh, I've bought in every.
I
Chrono
know,
Trigger.
it's
I
like,
buy like 3
shut up
copies.
and take my money. Like, give me fucking Final Fantasy Tactics, all of them, Tactics Advance A2, the original.
Oh,
Give it to me in a compilation. Chrono Trigger belongs on the Switch. Like, there shouldn't just be like there are just glaring omissions in the Square Enix back catalog that need to be addressed on the Switch. And
I fucking
and on
love
all
Tactics
consoles, like, it
A2.
shouldn't just be like, well, it's just not on the Switch, but it's on Steam, or it's, you know, it's on the PlayStation, but it's not on Switch and it's not on Steam. Just, it's cross-platform. You are not beholden to any sort of, you know, I don't know, alliances with Sony or alliances with Nintendo. Like, you're, put it out there and make the money. Like, go get your paycheck, because we're gonna buy this stuff if you put it out. And that's it. Like, I really hope that there's some cool, like, you know, merchandise it, like merchandising. Put it on
Merchandise.
t-shirts.
Merchandise.
Put it on t-shirts. Put it on posters. Like, I would buy wall hangings. I want Frog on my wall because I love Frog. I want the whole Chrono Crew. Put them on my wall. I would buy a high quality print of Chrono Trigger. Just put out product, and we'll buy it for Christ's sake. Like, this is a beloved game, and it's something that really hasn't had a whole lot of marketing behind it for a while, because it's just kind of, it existed at a certain time, and I think it's you need to breathe some new life into it.
I agree with Sam.
All right, let's use that as the segue. Final story, and I can't believe we're already at about 50 minutes of our recording today.
You can tell we've not talked for a while, right?
Yeah,
It's like the biggest. It's
All
like
right.
taking the biggest dump.
All right, so our final story is Ubisoft fights back, legal and cybersecurity measures deployed to combat Assassin's Creed Shadow harassment. All right, so Ubisoft has implemented comprehensive measures to protect its employees from potential harassment surrounding the upcoming release of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The game, scheduled for launch on March 20th for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC, has faced significant controversy, particularly regarding its co-protagonist Yasuke, a black samurai based on a historical figure. Some critics have accused Ubisoft of being woke for featuring Yasuke despite his historical authenticity. In response to these tensions, Ubisoft has advised employees to refrain from publicly associating themselves with the company on social media to avoid potential harassment. The publisher has also collaborated with Canada's Communication Security Establishment, CSE, the National Cryptologic Agency specializing in IT security and foreign signals intelligence, to develop an anti-online harassment plan. This initiative includes a dedicated team monitoring platforms like Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube for harassment attempts targeting Ubisoft staff. Affected employees will receive psychological and legal support, and the company is prepared to take legal action against verified harassment cases. This proactive stance follows previous incidents such as a reported abuse at Brandoville Studios, an Indonesian support studio that worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows before closing in August 2024. Former employees allege both psychological and physical abuse, prompting Ubisoft to express being deeply disturbed by these reports. Additionally, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has publicly condemned the harassment of developers over the game's protagonists, emphasizing the company's support for its team and their creative choices. Despite these challenges, Ubisoft remains committed to ensuring a safe environment for its employees and upholding the integrity of its initiative projects. Should the people be shitty online just because they can? Does Ubisoft deserve this hate? How would you deal with people like this, boys?
First of all, Brian, can I just ask you to say the Ubisoft CEO's name again?
Guillemot.
Oh,
He's French.
you did that so well. That was beautiful.
It's actually Guillemot, I
Guillemot.
think. I don't know.
Guillemot. This is fucking sad, isn't it? I mean, the fact that they've had to put shit like this in place, it's just ridiculous. Like, I have never felt the need to, like, abuse people for, like, a game that like, touch grass, for fuck's sake.
I
you
love
know
that term. Uh,
it's just, why are you so, I don't know, upset about this sort of thing? It's a fucking
it's a
video
level of
game.
it's a level of jackassery that has come with the anonymity that the social media has given people. It's
100%. 100%. Like, people feel that they can be complete dickheads without any sort of
and
consequence. And it's true to an extent. Like, there is the anonymity involved that, you can get away with this shit, but, like, should you? Absolutely fucking not. Like, these people
no,
are
there
literally just.
there is no fucking reason. Sorry to cut you off, but I
No,
got to get
no,
this
no,
out.
no, do it.
Uh, there is no reason for you to go online and threaten to kill, harm, hurt, or do anything to anybody, or give them any sort of shit or bullshit texts, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
Basically making them feel unsafe simply because you don't like a made up video
Video
game
game.
character. And I know Yasuke is based on a real person, but this character is made up for a video
Yeah.
game.
Literally, like, you would not accept this in any other line of work. It is unacceptable, and people have gotten far too fucking comfortable with not getting smacked in the mouth for their
It's
opinions.
the social media effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like, because I guarantee you, some of these keyboard warriors would not say this face to face, and
Right.
No.
it's just fucking ridiculous. It just makes me so angry, because these guys, and, like, for all the troubles that Ubisoft have been going through, like, I'm a die-hard Ubisoft Assassin's Creed fan for life, and
Same with me.
you get it. And, like, these people are working their asses off to give us entertainment. They do not deserve this level of abuse
Right.
They don't deserve any level of abuse. I mean,
at all.
you don't like the game? Walk
Yeah,
away.
just don't play it. It's
Exactly.
not for you then.
Yeah.
It's a sad state of
And-
affairs.
And you know what? With any other media, like, that is, I don't know why it's so hard with gaming. It's just like, there are tons of genres of music that I don't enjoy, and you know what I do? I don't listen to them.
Exactly. I don't
Easy-
like country. I don't turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
Just
don't.
like-
But I don't go tell country singers to go kill themselves or anything. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Ex-
that's, yeah.
exactly.
I guess I should emphasize that point
Right.
too.
Yeah. Like I
Oh.
don't listen to it, and
No.
I don't threaten anyone because they do.
People have gotten too comfortable with thinking that their opinions of where a story should go matter.
Yeah, I
People-
always said that social media gave everybody a soapbox to stand on and nobody to listen to them.
People want to tell stories at the end of the day, and if it's not a story that you vibe with, fine, but they owe you nothing. They owe you nothing.
That's right.
Nope.
Like, they want to tell the story that they want to tell. If it's not a story that you want to hear, you know what? There are thousands, there are millions of other games that are telling you that story that you want to hear. Go there. Don't abuse people for expressing themselves how they want to express themselves.
Yeah, that's like this could snowball very quickly into a conversation that'll end up with basically us standing on our soapboxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I could get
no,
on the
it's
soapbox.
the
for
point
that.
is yeah. The point is very valid. Like, just don't go on social media and be a dick. If you don't like something, move away.
Yeah.
If you see people being assholes, don't sit there and engage them, because you know what? It never turns out well. As an example, I had kind of a week this week, and before one of my classes, I made a comment on Reddit that was a Letterkenny post, or a quote, sorry. And somebody came back and called me basically a terrible human being, not getting the joke at all. It was very obviously, it was all it was oh, your kid fell off a bike. I could watch kids fall off a bike all day. The thing that Wayne says at one time.
Hilarious. It's awesome.
And yeah, Yeah, but this conversation snowballed into this hate-filled conversation, and of course, I was in the mood just to get into it, so I engaged, and by the end of it, I felt worse for actually having
Right.
engaged.
Yeah,
Like it
because that's
sat
what
with
they
me, and I
want.
don't.
That's what they want. They want the echo to come back. They want it to bounce off of someone.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it
buddy.
was my fault for engaging.
Alan, you remember the What We Do in the Shadows where Colin is being an internet troll because it like helps him feed his energy vampire like needs or whatever. Like it's like a mini hit for him. That's exactly what these people are doing.
That's it. That is it.
They're
That
all
is
just they're all Colin
100%.
Robinsons being energy vampires, and yeah, that's all it
That's
is.
it. That's it. Agreed.
All right. Yeah, so I got nothing else for this one. Do you want to just move on to our
Let's
topics?
do
At
it.
1 hour, yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Don't
One
be
hour,
shitty.
only 3 hours left to
Yeah,
go.
don't be shitty. That's it.
All right. Speaking of shitty, this story is from 18th of February. This actually happened right after we recorded our last retro bites, but I just kind of thought it was a led into a good topic. So bear with me. The story's a little bit old, but the topic's going to be fire. So Silk Song has been removed from the Nintendo eShop. This was the 18th of February 2025, leaving fans wondering if the game existed. In your boy's opinion, what is a good cycle for a game to be announced? Example, the announcement, the reveal trailer, the gameplay reveal, etc., all the way up until the release. How do you feel? Like, what's the timeline you would say is a good timeline for this? How would you do it?
It's tough, isn't it? Like, for a start, like, I have no skin in the game because I've not played Hollow Knight. But I know how much people want to play Silksong. And
But not. I'm not talking particularly about Silksong. It was just the example
no,
that
but
led to
I'm
the.
I'm getting to my point, Brian.
Okay, Jesus, oh, fucking yell at me! Get off your soapbox.
But if something is that well received, like it makes sense to drive up hype from as soon as you possibly can. And I understand that, well, actually, I'll say I don't understand because I don't know what it's like to develop a game. Like, if you've got something in the oven, or at least something conceptually in the oven, like you want to get people excited for that release, especially if it's something that they're chomping at the bit for.
But
It's
I can counter that with, is it too long to, like, Cyberpunk 2077 was, announced 10 years before it was released, or some ridiculous time frame like that, and it built up a hype so high that the game, regardless if it worked or not, probably never would have lived up to that hype on its release. Like No Man's Sky is another one. They hyped that game up to be the do everything game, and when it released, it was this flat, boring mess of a game that they spent years fixing.
100%, but the problem there is hindsight. Because I don't think anyone necessarily announces these games with the expectation that they're going to be delayed as much as they are. Like,
Well, okay, yeah, delays are one thing, but all right, think of Fable.
oh
Fable
yeah,
was announced during COVID, simply as it's in development, just to let people know it's in development. And they brought out the logo and stuff. Elder Scrolls 6, you know,
oh my god, yeah,
they brought out that thing. Is that too long? Like, I've gone from excited for it to I don't even care.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, and listen, I don't disagree, but it's just like if you know you're working on something, you want to like get the word out, but you don't
Yeah,
always, you can't always anticipate these delays and things like that. So it's
but
just like,
there's
how long
that.
do you wait before you pull the trigger?
But it's not always delays that are stopping these. Like, Elder Scrolls is going to be a massive game. It's a massive undertaking. So the announcement, uh, when it was announced, was, yeah, it's in development, great. But then you get no follow up.
No, that's true.
So it's things like that. Like, for me, an announcement is fine. You can announce that a game's in development and let it peter off. But when you get to that point where you're ready to release, and when I say you're ready to release, I mean you are guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but you have like a 90% chance you're not going to be pushing this date back more than a month or two. Like, you're not going to reset for a year. But that's when you reveal the teaser trailer. Then you send out the actual trailer for the game at the next big whatever Jeff Keighley's hosting nowadays. But I honestly believe it should be a year cycle from the time you're ready to release the game, work yourself back a year, and then start releasing these announcements and trailers and building up the hype then.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're at the point where you're showing, because actually, like while you guys were chatting about it, I looked up the Hollow Knight Silk song. Like, it has its own website. Still, I mean, they didn't pull that
It's actually
down.
one of the first things they usually build.
Well, I know, but like there's gameplay looking footage, there's videos and stuff like that. If you're at that point, that game better be pretty close to done. I'd say. Like, you can announce something and show a logo and just say this is in development. That's fine. But then once you start hyping it up, putting it on storefronts, I don't even know if it's like available for pre-order or coming soon or whatever, and you've got gameplay footage and trailers and all that kind of stuff, it better be like pretty much done. You just need to kind of work out some bugs. Like for me, unfortunately, like this, I remember listening to episodes of Remember the Game, like Game Patch and stuff like that, where Adam was talking about this game for years. Like, to me, it's like at this point, like if this game's not out and no one, like at this point, it's almost like don't buy it. These guys have had it long enough to develop this game, and it's not like it's some sort of massive open world game. This is a 2D Metroidvania. Like, I understand that I'm not trying to, poo-poo what they're doing or put down or debase like the amount of work that goes into a game. But at the end of the day, this is not the most complicated type of game to make. Like, you should be able to repeat off of the success of Hollow Knight. And I forgot to mention it.
What's the fucking hold up?
Yeah, what's the hold up at this point? Like, you've got enough of it that this can't be that complicated of a game to make. Like, there's something else is rotten with this. I don't quite understand what's taking so long with this.
Sometimes it's the business that gets in the way of the development.
I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
Brian's really the expert here. You've been taking the classes and stuff.
I'm a first year student of a game development course. I'm the expert.
Hey, well, more expert than I am, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, to me, like,
sure.
it's just a bad look that this kind of false start problem that, and this isn't. I hate to bring Star Wars into it again, but I actually do follow Star Wars quite closely, as you know. But this type of announcement and teaser and then cancellation and shuffling the deck chairs.
Knights of the Old Republic.
It happens all the fucking time. And it's not just gaming, it's movies. Like, they'll announce movies and it's in development and then it doesn't happen, and shows get brought out and canceled, and it's just this problem that we have with media on demand. I think that unfortunately, like, this is a highly anticipated game, and for whatever reason it's not ready, and I guess that's fine, but unfortunately you've kind of set the table for people to be really disappointed because it's hotly anticipated, and you released a lot of shit that indicated that it's coming out pretty soon, and we're still waiting.
This game is announced with the Switch too. I think my reaction is just going to be I don't care, I'll get it, but I'm no longer excited for it.
I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah. It's another example of a game being overhyped. And this is, like you said, this is probably an easier type of game to make, so there's a good chance it's coming out like working, unlike Cyberpunk. But I don't know. You keep, you announce this game, you keep people in the dark for so long, then it's just, so what?
Yeah.
I don't know how to best describe it, but it's just like, I'll play it, but I'm not going to sit there and run out for the midnight release at the now closed GameStop.
Yeah. Stop edging us, guys, if you can't deliver.
Yeah, and if for whatever reason we find out that this was all a ploy to drive up hype for the game, then they can go fuck themselves. I'm sorry.
Fair.
All right. Let's move on to questions from the Patreon. We've started putting up a post after we record every month where we take comments and questions from the members of our Patreon, and I believe we set it to the paid tier. So if you want to join the Patreon Hero tier to write in a question or a topic idea for RetroBytes, you can do that over at patreon.com/retrotopia. And our first question comes from Wildcard, or who we now very kindly referred to as Joe Fettuccini. He asks, or he says, the three of you are thrown into a kart racer. What does the body of your kart, the wheels, and the glider look like? Ooh, it's a Mario Kart question. Sam, I'm gonna throw it at you first.
Mine's gonna be all beagle shaped. I think like if you think of the like the dog like the dog car in Dumb and Dumber, but like a cart and beagle shaped. And then I think
I like that.
And I think the glider is just gonna be like one giant beagle ear. Because that's pretty much a glider anyways.
I like the theme. Yeah.
I don't know about wheels, like, but the wheels might be covered by like dog legs, like how you have to lift it up to fill it with gas. It would be something like that.
See, that makes me uncomfortable. So that your car is just running around on dog legs, like that's I don't
There's
like that.
wheels in there. It's just like you got to lift the leg to fill it with gas. That's like the
Okay.
yeah.
Or replace the tire.
Or replace
That
the
feels-
tire.
Alan, what are you doing, Alan?
I tell you what, the body of my car is 100% the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
No, fuck.
To start with, the wheels for Sonic the Hedgehogs because it's me, and the glider is that one picture that I have of Brian that I'm not going to show anyone else.
Oh, is that where I take my scrotum and I lay it out for like a glider for you?
Glorious, glorious.
It's just a hot air balloon
Solid
ball
Rocky the
sack.
squirrel.
And I'm going to win.
Oh yeah, just on my scrotum alone.
I'm going to win by the skin of your balls.
Scroats my goats.
There we go. Oh man, you guys had some good ones there. The DeLorean is a great idea.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have the body of man. I didn't even bother to really think about this. I had an idea, and then you guys went nuclear.
Yours is a
Tell you
Cybertruck
what.
now.
So I'm
'cause
gonna
you
have
had
the
no
body
answer.
of a missile. Yeah, body of a missile. They're gonna have little wheels just so it can lay on the ground before the missile's off, and the glider is just gonna be a light piece of government issued toilet paper, 1-ply, because it's gonna be useless in the scope of my missile flying out through the race and winning.
See,
Like
That's
an
right.
infinite bullet.
And
bill.
also, I get to straddle a missile. Yeah.
always a plus.
Awesome.
Brian, I think for the body of your racer, like I think was it the Wings of Time was on the table?
Are you talking about the Epoch?
The Epoch. Fuck. There it is. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
You could have had that.
Yeah, but that's a time machine. Like, why would I want to go back to the start and do this again? It's a Joe Fettuccine
You want to go
question.
forward and kick everyone's ass in the race. Boom.
You're right.
you go.
Unstoppable.
So, speaking of going forward, the big deal asks, Dear gents, let's hear your pitch for the third South Park RPG game.
Wow.
All right, I actually, when I was putting this in, my mind started like going crazy because I actually thought of an idea. You remember the episode of South Park where Butters as Captain Chaos gets help from Mark Zuckerberg, and then the Jeff Bezos episode in the Amazon warehouse? I would love to see the RPG game centered around those. Basically, you taking on Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. What was the other one I said? Mark Zuckerberg. God, they all blend together. You know, these gigantic corporations and stuff like that, and they just make fun of them in that classic South Park humor.
I love it. The amorphous blob of fucking corporate arseholes.
But yeah, that was my idea, because reality is they've done the superhero stuff already.
Yeah.
They did the Game of Thrones stuff. So this one would be more of a sci-fi
I love it.
sci-fi theme.
I like
so
that.
you know, yeah, that would be my idea for a South Park RPG game.
I would say
That's a good one.
something along the sci-fi lines. I like that, but I would add to it and say that I want it to be like even more. So the progression of those South Park RPGs was like the first one was just kind of a more traditional RPG. Then you had that kind of grid based RPG, which was pretty cool. Kind of like how Live a Live or Live a fucking that game sucks. I'm sorry, but the South Park version of it was really cool, where you could use the grid and your attacks did different things in different directions. Now go even one step further from that and make it a full blown either like a strategy RPG or like an Advance Wars style turn based strategy game. I would love that. Um, or where like if you go full Advance Wars with it, have like Cartman and Kyle and stuff be your COs, and they're the characters that are like deploying units on the map. I think that would be fucking awesome. I would play the hell out of that.
Yeah, so would I. Fuck,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and you can have it be whatever
Yeah,
kind of theme
Alan,
you want. Just make it a strategy game.
Do you have anything to add, Alan?
I do. I'm going full blown Sonic Generations, and I'm having something like, I don't know, let's call it the Finger of Time, where current South Park and season 1 South Park is completely breaking down. So you have the characters now interacting with their crappy original selves to save the timeline and patch up time and basically save South Park. So you kind of have like two of every character,
Oh my
because
god.
I want to see, I want to see Randy now interacting with Randy then. Like, can you imagine?
That would
I
be
am at
good.
full
Right?
mast.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So we've come up with our pitch for the third South Park game. Thanks, big deal. And moving on to Timothy O'Houlihan. He says, "Hey fellas, for some reason you are now tasked with taking a high dose of magic mushrooms and are about to take a wild trip. What 3 video game characters do you trip balls with? Let's each pick one."
Yeah. You
Oh,
guys
I've
go
got
first.
3.
Yeah. Oh, you give us
I've,
those
Oh, you
3.
got
Yeah.
3?
I've got a whole ass 3. Oh, I've got a trip on magic mushrooms again. Okay. First of all, the obvious choice. I'll get this out of the way. Mario. Like, the guy takes mushrooms all the time. So,
Yeah, if you have a bad trip, at least you have Mario there.
oh no, I've got somebody for my bad trip. Because I really think if you have a bad trip, you need somebody to talk you down. And do you know who I think could do that? Clank from Ratchet and Clank. Something about that calming voice and that rational mind. I think he could talk me down off of the edge. And if you are tripping, you are going to need somebody to take care of you no matter the situation you get into. And I'm going to pick Max Payne, but specifically Max Payne from Max Payne 3, because that guy spends the entire game literally pissed and on drugs, and he manages to survive the whole thing. So I think he could take care of me,
Well thought out.
and that's it.
That's good logic.
Thank you.
So wait, what did you have?
Underrated game, by the way.
Yeah, what did you had someone to take care of you, someone to trip along with you, and that's a good point. That's a good idea. Okay, I've got some. So I have to pick 3, right?
Do it.
Yeah.
So we'll pick 3. Okay. I am going to pick Frog because he is one of my favorite just characters, video game characters, period. And I think that he would fit right in with like my hallucinations. Like, why wouldn't there be a fucking talking frog with a sword? He's gonna fit right in with whatever's happening. For someone to take care of me, I'm gonna take Nurse Joy from Pokemon because I think she's gonna ground us and heal us, take care of us. And I need just like a really absolutely wild character. Man, I'm having trouble with this. Let's take that little dog from Yoshi's Story. I know it might be recency bias because I just played it, but I'd hang out with that little thing. I want just like goofy ass characters that look like whatever I'm hallucinating anyways. So yeah, we'll take those, and Nurse Joy can help bring me down.
All right, I had a chance to come up with my three, and let's see if they match up to your guys's. First off, the guy who's going to take care of me, it's going to be Mario, because he's Dr. Mario.
Awesome.
Oh,
And
Oh my God,
nice.
yes.
he's going to give me the pills to bring me back down to earth. Second person I'm going to bring is Ezio El Dottore, something or other. And I'm going to
Ezio
bring him.
Auditore di Firenze.
There we go. I couldn't remember the full name, but I'm going to bring him because he's a ladies' man, and we're going to get around town and we're going to go have some fun. Um, Third person to kind of go crazy. I'm grabbing Kefka from Final Fantasy
Oh
VI.
God, you went dark with
fuck's
it.
sake.
That guy is going to give you a fucking wild time, and when you're done, you're waking up in a wasteland.
Brian's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to take some shrooms and destroy the fucking world.
Jesus Christ.
Pretty much.
Actually,
That's why we don't do drugs.
you know what's a
kids.
good runner-up would be Leisure Suit Larry. bring that friggin' pervert with you.
Yeah, as much as we hate him, that guy pulls some hot ass cartoon.
Oh, I know.
ass.
You take magic mushrooms. Next thing you know, you're walking around with your condom on, and you get arrested. Ugh.
Yeah. All right, moving to our final question comes from Fallen Snowkiku, and she says, "Hey there. When you guys create characters for games, how long do you spend on doing them? Do you tweak everything you possibly can, or just go with the default with little to no modifications? And how do you mix it up, or do you do the same thing every time?" Character creation question.
That's a great question.
Sam.
I
That's
don't.
a good question.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time on it, but I will tell you what. I spent probably an embarrassing amount of time on my Tony Hawk characters, like putting them in the cool clothes and stuff. So I'm not ashamed to admit that. But I tell you what, the Lady Beagle does spend an awful lot of time on her Sims characters, so I get it. And also, like my Animal Crossing characters, I'll switch up their outfits and stuff, and that's not necessarily a character create screen, but I try to make sure that they kind of look a little bit like me, and then they're wearing some fly duds. I don't know if that's what the kids say these days, but yeah, I'd say I'd spend a moderate amount. I spend a moderate amount of time on it, and in the more recent Pokemon games, you can get your outfits too. So I usually roll with some cool like ghost type shit, and if there's like Gengar on a T-shirt, I'm gonna wear a Gengar shirt. So that's
Gonna
cool.
go goth with it.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. So yeah, I try to make
Nice.
my inner self shine in my characters, but I don't spend a ton of time on
There
it.
you go.
Like I used to.
Alan?
Like I used to big time, and I'd make every character look like myself. Like the biggest example I can think of was Mass Effect. I would spend ages making a character that looked just like me, and it doesn't matter how long you spend creating these characters, they never look the same as when you're building them, do they? Like, there's always
No.
that drop in quality between the character creation and how they actually look in game, which is kind of always a little bit heartbreaking. So now I think it kind of depends on the game. Like, if there is a cool enough looking generic character, like again Mass Effect, I can't imagine playing it now without playing as Base Shepherd. Some of the other RPGs, like, yeah, maybe I'll spend some time, but I won't sweat it too much because I know, like, those, the tweaks to the eyebrows, the tweak to the cheekbone, it's not gonna fucking matter when I get into the main game. So just I'll get close enough and then just call it a day.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I don't spend a lot of time on character creation. Most of the time. Sometimes I just get into the mood to fuck around with a character, or the character creation is fun enough that I spend the time deciding between a medium or large penis on the Cyberpunk 2027 character.
I love that.
I've heard
Like,
about that.
didn't Baldur's Gate 3 have like you could pick how big your wiener was and stuff?
I
Or was
have
that
not
just
played
Cyberpunk?
Baldur's Gate 3
Yeah.
yet. But,
That was
but
definitely Cyberpunk because I watched my wife creating a character on there and it was
yeah,
fucking
yeah, just
horrifying.
And then you felt
she's just
bad
sitting there
for the rest of
staring
the
at it.
day.
It's like, Yeah, if you choose the small penis option on that, your wife turns to you and is like, "Is that considered small? What do you got?" It's like, "Fuck."
No,
Yeah, no.
that looks distinctly average to me.
Yeah, I liked putting breast on my man.
Well, and speaking of character creation, you remember how? Sorry, you can probably hear the dogs going nuts in the background, and I don't know why they are. So I'm going to investigate that in a moment. But do you remember like how big a deal it was to make your me when the Wii came out? Like that was nuts.
Oh
Like
yeah,
people would
yeah.
spend so much time on. There were some wild ones, like templates and stuff that you could go off of to make characters and stuff. But man, that I miss that.
You know what? While you go investigate, I'll just I'll say this one point about character creators. I actually I make fun of Cyberpunk, but you know what I love about it is you can make the if you really want to make a character, and you if say you're somebody that really likes this character creator, you can make the character basically fit who you feel you are. There's no limits to it, and that's the way it ought to be.
Yeah,
Like
I can get bored with that.
yeah, it just some of them are very generic. Like pick man or woman, and then there you pick their clothes, and then you hit random on the face until you find one that isn't all distorted, and you're like, oh, that's good enough. But no, if the character creation is fun enough, I mean, absolutely, I'll take the time. But if it's like Skyrim, where I've played the game a bunch of times, I just choose the race that I want, hit the random button until I get a decent looking character, then start the story, because it's in a first person view. I don't see the character's face at all.
No, exactly. And if all else fails, just create Macho Man Randy Savage for everything, and you're good.
That is RetroBytes mandated. You must do. All right, and did Sam get back in time?
Oh yeah, I'm back now. I just brought the dogs in here. They're
All
going
right.
absolutely apeshit over something. So
The reason I ask is, do you think it's time to spin the wheel?
let's
Spin
spin that
fucking
wheel. Spin that wheel.
Spin in the wheel. That fucking.
Oh man, there's another.
And
Here's another quick "What We Do in the Shadows" reference for you. Remember when they go to Atlantic City, Alan, and he's got that like generic hotel advertisement that he watches over and over again. It's like spin that wheel. I should see if I can find that song and we can play it as a clip for spinning the wheel.
I do not.
Oh,
but
You
I'm
don't
with
remember that? Oh my god. Let me.
I do- no.
I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna bring it
right.
up in the next
All
Retro
right.
Bites. All right, go ahead.
okay, so we have the topic is most anticipated game updates or expansions.
Ooh.
So, what are our most anticipated game updates or expansions that have been announced, or is this a wish list scenario?
It can be both. It's our show.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Do what we fucking want. Most anticipated what doodah and thingy. That's
Yes.
the one.
Yes. Doodah and thingy. That's what I call my testicles.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
I thought I recognised them.
Okay, go ahead.
Slightly on but off topic while I sort of kill time to think of something. I heard that Last of Us Part 2 is getting some DLC soon, which seems kind of weird.
Is it?
Yeah, like I guess there's a mode
Well-
on Last of Us Part 2 where they're adding a couple of extra characters to it. I've only ever played that game once though, so I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to do so long after the fact, but I guess it's coinciding with series 2 of the show, so it makes sense, kind of. Just thought it was weird.
I wonder if
There you go.
that's
There
I
you
wonder
go.
if that's going to be tied into the show.
Well, that's what I figure.
Yeah.
That makes
Or
sense.
just build
Yeah.
hype around the show and get people playing the game again and all that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think they've already announced some DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which while I've not actually started playing it yet, I'm always excited for more Assassin's Creed. So
You know what? Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off like that, but
oh, but you did.
Assassin's,
so this better be good.
Assassin's Creed is kind of a weird DLC thing because I can't think of any of the DLC that I actually ended up playing from any Assassin's Creed game.
Oh god, I played them all.
Yeah, like you have Freedom Cry or Freedom something from Assassin's Creed 4, but they turned that into a standalone game.
Which is excellent, by the way.
The Ezio trilogy is actually like two expansion games because they're definitely not as big as Assassin's Creed 2. Origins, I bought the DLC, but I don't think I played it. Maybe did Odyssey have DLC?
Yes, I think.
Then I must have played that one because I played the ever living fuck out of Odyssey.
I remember that Assassin's Creed, was it Odyssey or no, Valhalla, I think, had some DLC that was I'm pretty sure Cassandra came back from Odyssey and she was the character that you played with, and that was fucking awesome because Cassandra is, you know, Ezio notwithstanding, one of my favorite characters in Assassin's Creed. She's a beast.
He is, yeah. I just went with the male protagonist in Odyssey.
Nah,
I don't know why everybody claims. Well, everybody says Cassandra is the antagonist of Odyssey when you could pick between the two of them. I don't even remember the guy's name though, because nobody talks about him.
I can't think of it either.
But no, but it was like a brother sister situation. So essentially, whatever would happen with Cassandra's brother would be Cassandra in that place.
Alexios.
And yeah, so it was kind of neat. But I don't know why people just automatically go to her as the protagonist of that game.
I don't know. It just felt right. Like I played
I guess.
so many Assassin's Creed with a male protagonist that I just thought I fancy a change. Like I want to do something a bit different, see how this plays out, and she's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. I can't think of any expansion pass coming out that I'm excited for.
Sam,
Like in all honesty.
Sam,
I'm racking
have
my
you got
brains
anything?
because I'm racking my brains for this one because I really don't play a lot of DLCs. I think I broke that rule this year recently when I played that Final Fantasy VII remake intermission or whatever with Yuffie. That was pretty cool. And then I played.
But that was almost a game on
I
its
know
own.
it was like a mini game. It was kind of cool. Like just a short.
I s-
Yeah, a little bit more than an expansion pack, but almost like just a short, brief, episodic experience that
Well, yeah,
it was cool.
a 10-hour game and a 25-hour, series or whatever you want to call it.
It was great. So that was a good one.
Well, there you go.
And I played.
Well, let's flip.
I played the Last of Us, whatever the Ellie like little side story from Last of Us Part 1. That was cool. So if there's a DLC for Last of Us Part 2 coming, I wonder if that's kind of a scrapped kind of like they were thinking about either making a Part 3 or a multiplayer game. I wonder if elements of that went into just like a DLC for Last of Us Part 2. I guess that would be mine because I didn't know that was coming and I don't play a lot of DLCs.
Well, let's flip the script. Like, what is the best DLC for any game you've ever played? It's our show. We can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do everything we want.
This is
Yes.
yeah, for me this is going way back.
Let's do that.
I'll take this one first. I think going way back to when it was called like expansions and not DLC. I think the StarCraft expansion from the original StarCraft was excellent.
There you go.
That was probably my favorite one.
You know what? You just reminded me. Call them expansions, just call them episodes, but Half-Life 2 episode 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Or the other option would be BioShock Infinite. What was the name of it?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Ah, fuck.
BioShock Infinite
And I know
DLC. Burial at Sea.
and I know how that ends, and oh, that's a choice.
Yeah, that would be the last one I played. I haven't played that one in a while. I got to get through BioShock Infinite again and then rerun the DLC.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on that one if you want to do an episode. 100%.
Absolutely. You know what? Let's start playing it. And we'll get the episode done by the end of May when I'm no longer in school and have a lot more free time.
There you go. Let's absolutely set a time for that, because we know how well we're good at like setting deadlines.
I said May. I never said what year.
Yeah,
May
deadline,
as in-
schmedline. You said May, as in we may do it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Lair of the Shadow Broker, Mass Effect 2. Almost a game in itself, and some of the best DLC. In fact, I would argue all of the DLC for Mass Effect is amazing. There's at least one person listening, no, two people listening, who I know full well are agreeing with me. But just fucking outstanding. Cinematic
But are
as
they
fuck.
listening?
Are they really
Do you
listening?
think they?
Yeah, I think
Do you
so.
think they've not finished by this point and went to bed?
Maybe. But
Save the rest for the shower tomorrow.
oh, yeah, but if they have, then they're still listening. You can pause.
That's a fair point. Yeah. No, you can't. Once you pause a podcast, you have to end it. It's over.
That's a shame. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right. All right, so that was the Wheel of Discussion. Not our strongest topic, but Alan flipped it around and we had a good ending to it. But the last one, The Hook, before we get into our Patreon topic, The Hook was, I believe it was brought by Sam. Was it not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I remember you messaging and then writing this one down. Do you want to take a hosting on this one?
I'll take this. So I found an article from the Metro UK, which apparently is awful rag over there in the UK as far as what Alan has told us. So the Metro UK has listed 5 quote-unquote perfect video games ever made. And we're going to look at it and see if we agree. So, boys, I've got the article up here. And the Metro considers... there's a lot of ads in this article, of course. But among these 5, Super Metroid, Chrono Trigger... Civ 5 was kind of a weird sleeper, so that's Civilization 5, Tetris, and I missed one while I was scrolling. Super Mario World. So
No, you didn't.
Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah, this fucking list is fucked
It's
up.
a weird list.
It
Yeah.
is.
So number 5 was Super Metroid, number 4 was Chrono Trigger, number 3 was Super Mario World, number 2 was Civilization 5, and number 1 was Tetris. What do you guys think of this list?
Shall we
Well, let's start.
tackle them one at a
Yeah,
time?
Let's start at the beginning, and when we get to the end, stop. Super Metroid, 110% agree.
Yeah.
It's no secret how I feel about Metroid, and Super Metroid is still to this day one of the most perfect games I've ever played. Like, I will play this every couple of years or so, and it's stunning. Like, no notes. Like, it doesn't need anything. Like, maybe I'll hear an argument about the wall jumping or what have you. Fair enough. But otherwise, it's just gorgeous.
That's a great game.
Yeah, I still have not played Super Metroid in my life because I'm not a Metroid fan. And was it the one we played there? Zero Mission is like the first Metroid to catch my attention. And if you're saying this is better than Zero Mission, then I might give it a shot sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think it just has that Super Nintendo charm.
Yeah, I like it better than Zero Mission. I think I'd still put Super Metroid as a number 1, and then Zero Mission Fusion somewhere after that, but also still very good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put it on my list of games to finish by the end of 2025. That'll never get.
There we
to.
go.
Oh, nice.
It'll go.
All right.
It'll go underneath the games of 1987 that I still haven't got around to.
All
How
right.
about this
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger? You ever heard of
Chrono
that one?
Trigger is coming in at number 4.
Never heard of it.
No, it's perfect
Yeah,
game.
I would not change this.
You know
one.
what?
Yep.
I know we've done the episode, but Chrono Trigger really is considered the gold standard of JRPGs of that era, simply because of the way it was brought together and the people who brought it together. It is great character, great storytelling, great gameplay, great mechanics, great interfaces, and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't leave you with a lot of time to get bored because the story is so tightly packed that it's just beat after beat after beat after beat, and that's why this game is as good as it is, in my opinion.
It's a super group.
Cut it,
It's
print
it's
it.
the Led Zeppelin of
I agree.
RPGs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of RPGs will leave you like the story would have a break in it to kind of dull the action to transition into the next part of the story, but this one just has like even the goal of the game is presented fairly early, and the way you get to that goal is just this roundabout way of figuring out that this guy Lavos is going to destroy the planet
Mm.
in 1999. It's so well done, and from there you have your reason to continue, and you just go.
And
God.
and this game does have that break if you want to do it. And in doing it, like all you are left with is a better appreciation of the stakes and the richness of the world, because you have that moment in Chrono Trigger where you can go off and start trying to fix the world that you're in, and all the while you're doing that you are just increasing your connection to the realm that you're in, which makes it
Yeah,
even more important to you that you beat Lavos.
and you're learning everybody's backstories, which is what
Yes.
those ending missions are, and you just get, like you said, you get this deep connection to the characters. Not to mention, there's the 12 different endings. When you fight Lavos for the first time, you have multiple ways to go see or go fight Lavos. You can fight him from the bucket at the end of time. You can fight him by going to 1999 and the Epoch. You can fight him by going through the Black Omen. And then after that, you can always fight Lavos on the new game plus by going to the original teleporters and fighting him from there. And that's how you trigger the different endings.
Yep. Just jam
So
packed.
good.
Jam packed.
Yeah, just I have no notes on
Yep.
this. It is just there's a reason I call it the perfect RPG, and there's a reason I continuously, get told to be quiet by the same people who constantly talk about Star Wars.
I've never told you
No,
not to talk
I will
about.
never dispute.
Oh, you took that
100%
personally,
on
did you,
board with-
boys? Huh?
I am 100% on board with Chrono Trigger.
No.
Oh.
There's been people there who talk about their video games ad nauseum, and then when I talk about something I like, they're like, "Oh God, why are we talking about this again?"
Well, guess what? Chrono Trigger belongs in this list for sure.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Next,
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World was next. Yeah, I think it's probably the quintessential side-scrolling Mario experience. I think it took everything that Nintendo learned in the NES era with obviously the original Super Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers 3 for sure. 2 is kind of a weird one. Great game, but you don't really feel its influences as much in Super Mario World, but Super Mario World is great. And there's a reason why I think you see the modding community and the speedrunning community get into this particular era of Super Mario so deeply. It's a great game. I think it belongs on the list. I don't know about you guys.
I think it belongs on the list, but this is called Perfect Games, and I don't know if I'd call it perfect, but it's damn near close. It's definitely got a few flaws in the fact that you can only save after castles or the boo houses. Um, that's about it, actually. It's pretty much my only
that's
complaint to the game.
it.
Oh yeah, and Yoshi's a little bitch, but that's a whole different story.
It's a
Hey,
Yoshi story.
leave off Yoshi. He's had some hard times. I interviewed him recently. Uh, um, Super Mario World is kind of a safe pick. I like it fine. I remember getting into trouble for playing it before we had to go to school one time. Shouldn't have had the console on before school, and I ate shit for that one. So I was really hooked on it at the time. It's a great game. It's platforming perfection. I think it's been done better since, but you can't dispute the fact that this was kind of where they pinned down the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great game.
Maybe, yeah.
It's a great game. Is it one of my most perfect games of all time? Probably not. but I can see the argument.
Yeah, I think there's an argument for it to be here.
Sure.
The weird one. This is the really the kind of one that it doesn't belong with the rest. But Civilization 5.
I've been kind of going like I've been reading what the guy wrote here, and he's like shitting on Civilization 7.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure this guy plays 5 video games, and he just listed them all. um,
What a weird
But-
mix though. Like 4 like Nintendo staples and then Civ 5.
yeah, I'm conflicted on this because I love Civ 5. I love Civilization. I've loved it since 2.
Yeah,
like, that's
Civ
when I
2 is
started playing
great.
Civilization, and they keep getting better.
Yeah.
So I'm conflicted because Civ 6 is arguably a better game, but Civ 5 by no means is a game that's like loses to Civ 6. It is fun in its own right. It's a little more simplistic in the way a Civilization could be more simplistic. I guess less ideas as opposed to Civ 6. And I think Civ 6 gets the edge because you can play as Canada in one of the DLCs for Civ 6.
Amazing.
BT Dub, going back to our last conversation, DLCs on Civilization.
Well, there you go.
This is, you know what? The more that I look at this list, the more it's like, oh, this is kind of a weird list. It's like 4 Nintendo games and then Civ 5. There's
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying these are the 5 games this guy's have ever
yeah,
played.
you've ignored the entire PlayStation catalog. You've ignored the entire Genesis catalog.
Yeah, no Sega.
There's a lot of
this.
it's a weird list, but definitely like you could just swap out Civ 5 with like Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past, and it could just be like your top 5 Nintendo perfect games. You know, like it's odd. The more that I look at this list, the more I'm kind of souring on it. But yeah, if you want to put Civ 5 in here, cool, good for you. I would probably swap it out with something else, but that's fine.
I got nothing. I got nothing on this one.
If
I've
we're
never
assuming-
played.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I've never played a Civilization game. Like,
Yeah.
I've played, as far as Sid Meier goes, like I've played Alpha Centauri. I don't know if anyone knows that game.
I do.
Heard of it.
And like I loved that game back in the day. I'd love to take another run at it. If it's anything like that, then great. Great game. Yeah, I agree. It kind of feels like somebody picked a few safe picks and then just chucked in the sort of game that they've put 400 hours into on there. Just
Yeah.
you know.
Like this is their wild card pick. I'd say like if you need another type of game in here, like you've got your quote unquote Metroidvania, you've got your RPG, you've got your platformer. I would swap out Civ 5 with like Ocarina of Time for me. It's the only game to have that
God, no.
Metacritic perfect score. I'd say put Ocarina of Time in here. Swap it
Yeah.
out.
Ocarina of Time is not a perfect game. It's not even like a good Zelda game by comparison to the rest.
You go fuck yourself.
But I know this is something we're gonna fight over because you shit on my beloved Link Between Worlds.
Well, you know what? I didn't shit on Link Between Worlds. I thought it was fine. I'd say, you know what?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
It's better than fine.
it's good.
Fine is
It's very.
Alan when he says no to a second round.
You know what? When you're talking about a Zelda
Sorry,
game, that's
I was
fine,
not
a
paying
Zelda,
attention. What happened?
a Zelda game that's fine
Go
is
on.
still very good. That's my
True.
that's the
Well,
bar
that's-
for a Zelda
That's
game.
true. But I don't put Ocarina of Time unless I will respectfully disagree with
Well,
you
then
on
which
that
one are you going to put here? Let's assume that we would all swap out.
Civilization 6.
Okay. I was gonna say let's assume that we would all take Civilization 5 off this list. What would you put in its place?
Okay.
Yeah, what would you put in its
If
place?
okay, you're dumping me on the spot. I'd probably put Chrono Trigger back in it.
Twice.
It's so good. It can be
Chrono
on the
Trigger's
list
on there
twice.
twice. All right. Alan, what would you
No,
put here?
I don't fucking know. Sonic 06.
Yeah, they kind of.
Why not?
Sonic 06. Oh my god. All right, now you guys are just being douchebags. All right, so Civilization 5 was on here. Tetris was number 1. I don't have any notes. I think Tetris is an all-time great and deserves to be on
Yeah,
any
it's-
list.
it's hard to argue with the purity and simplicity, the beauty of Tetris. Like, it is video games boiled down to the simplest and most, again, pure form.
Yep.
Yeah,
Infinitely playable.
what else? Infinitely playable by anyone, literally anyone. It's just pick up and play at its finest.
It is the basis of a lot of video games. It
Mm-hmm.
is considered perfect simply because a lot of games have based themselves off its design, off its core design. So yeah, it belongs on the list more than even Chrono Trigger does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could go back and forth on the argument for Civ 5 and even the other games there.
Yeah,
But Tetris is kind of the one that has to be there.
Yeah, this is the one I think we would dispute the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And we're not really disputing it. We're just kind of sitting there finding reasons why we're not disputing it.
yeah. And I'm not even the biggest Tetris guy, but it's just like you've got to just give it its flowers.
I love a good,
Game recognizes
I love a
game.
good
Yeah,
Tetris game.
absolutely.
All right. That's it. That's it for the main show. We do have the Patreon topic coming up after we do this a brief little outro for the listeners who have not joined our Patreon yet. Alan, if they wanted to join the Patreon, how much could they join it for, and where could they find it?
Oh, you can join for the low price of free, as Brian would say, and you can find it at patreon.com/retrotopia. You can also find all of our socials and our Patreon as well at linktree/retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/retrotopia. Come and join the party. Come and join the conversation. Tell us what you think of everything that we've discussed today. It's a good time.
Absolutely. And if you've if you're part of the Patreon and you haven't found the Spotify expansion pass Retrotopia, which actually gives all the Patreon podcasts with it, or if you haven't used the RSS link out of Patreon, you might be missing the extra topic. I know some people didn't know about that. I'm just letting you know now, there's actually 2 Retrotopias out there on Spotify. The original show, and then the one called Expansion Pass, which is the Patreon shows. All right, boys, say goodbye to our listeners. If you're on the Patreon, we're going to be back in a few seconds with your Patreon topic. I'm Brian. I'm saying goodbye. Fellas.
Goodbye, guys. Thanks for listening.
See you guys. Thanks.